A few minutes back, we had news of the United Nations speaking about how they had enough proof and videos emerging to suggest that there were reprisal killings. Now, the United Nations may have woken up late because in the last 2 months, there have been videos emerging, even before the Taliban had taken over. There have been videos emerging suggesting the brutality was on the rise. And the United Nations has said that they have proof of how Taliban was killing former Afghan national security forces. It's not just former security forces. Anybody who was remotely attached, linked to the previous establishment, those who fought for democracy, were part of democracy, are being tortured. This video emerged of how Taliban had tortured and is seen whiplashing civilians in different parts of Afghanistan. A disturbing video that came in this morning. Okay, that's a video, a very disturbing video that came in. In fact, many such videos. We also have an account of a doctor and a civil rights activist from Kandahar. We'll play that out in a few minutes from now. But I'd like to go across to Colonel Rohit Dev, joining us on the phone line. The United Nations, very surprisingly, the United Nations human rights chief has claimed sometime back, Colonel Rohit Dev, that they have now, after weeks of some proof of reprisal killings, of attacks by the Taliban. Now, they're all waking up, although it may be a bit too late, isn't it?
It most certainly is, Niranjan, and I don't know what to even say after seeing what you have shown me right now. It was better that your commentator left me by telling me what is happening, but I opened this visual. It is so disheartening, actually, and these scoundrels and cowards, they call themselves men. Anybody who hits a woman is not manly enough in any which sense, psychologically or even in terms of the intent they have and the intelligence they have. Such a brutal sight of parking your car, calling yourself police, taking out some whimsical system of a weapon or a chabuk and trying to hit women, and they are shrieking. I mean, this is barbaric. This is barbaric by all norms. And I don't know what that lady was doing, sitting with a Talibani terrorist, in a talk. That's not to be done. And I don't know when the world will take notice. It's already too late in the day. People have died in Afghanistan, in Panjshir and other places. There has been a widespread discontent and a lot of infighting along the AFPAC region. But all throughout, when we saw the first visuals of the ladies of Afghanistan, the women and the young girls, taking charge of their own destiny and trying to come out in the streets, these people on the garb of forming a government passed instructions to stay indoors. And that is nothing but trying to quell a sort of an uprising or a voice against their regime. And today, when somebody must have walked onto the street, look at that, I see your screen, there's a small, I think a girl standing far away from where this incident is happening. And she is probably witnessing either her mother or a grandmother or somebody or a sister getting, thrashed in broad daylight by a group of cowards, who are yielding a lot of power by being in a police van. I mean, what kind of a mindset are they going to cultivate in the next generation? It is horrendous. This kind of inhuman treatment of women and children and other people on the streets by giving these kind of a judgmental diktats and the Sharia in full swing. I don't know what the US president is looking at. I don't know what the UNHCR president is looking at. I don't know what Antonio Guterres is looking at. But I do know what I'm looking at, and what I'm looking at is actually a phenomenal case of inhuman treatment of somebody who cannot even defend himself or herself. I mean, for every crime in the world, and we have seen across the global spectrum, there is something called law. The law comes in, even the guilty is not punished till proven guilty. And here we have Sharia in 2021 being imposed after 20 years, Niranjan, 20 years of US being there with its own allies and trying to nurture Afghanistan, trying to have education, liberal, society, what it used to be before Taliban 1.0, and it's all coming back to a grave knot. And I don't know. I mean, I have no words to describe what is happening. And if you have better words, probably you can describe, but it doesn't take away the pain, the agony, the anguish. I mean, what kind of a society will come out of Afghanistan if this continues? And is the world blind? Is the world deaf to the shriek of that lady which is showing on the screen? I mean, this clip should be on all world media right now. And I'm not too sure if many, apart from you, are showing it worldwide. I don't know where the CNN is, where BBC is. And these are the pictures which should be carried to
Well,
the
they've moved
people
on.
who work.
They've all moved on.
So
They've moved on. They've moved on, and it's a story that's over for them, because in their eyes and in the words of the White House in America, Taliban has been very businesslike and professional. Can you believe it? That's the joke of the century. On the 20 years post 9/11, that's the biggest slap on the face of everyone who believed America, right? When they tell you that the Taliban is professional and businesslike. I'll leave it at that for now, Colonel Rohit Dev. We'll take this forward later.